The skies above Earth were no longer blue. They burned red as if the atmosphere itself was on fire. Massive shadows crossed the continents, blocking out the sun. The alien ships had arrived. Thousands of them filled the orbit like a silver storm. Each ship was the size of a city, smooth and silent, covered in glowing lines that pulsed like veins. The people of Earth watched from their cities, frozen, as the alien fleet surrounded their world. Inside the Earth Defense Command Center, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Reeves stood before a wall of screens. His eyes were calm but cold. Officers shouted reports, their voices trembling. Satellite networks were down. The moon bases were lost. Every attempt to communicate with the alien fleet had failed. The Valari Dominion, the oldest and most powerful empire in the known galaxy, had come to make Earth kneel. Reeves's second-in-command, a young officer named Tara Holt, looked pale. "They've sent another message, sir," she said. "Same as before," Reeves nodded. "Play it." The hologram flickered, showing the image of a tall, silver-skinned alien. Its eyes were black, its expression empty of emotion. "Humans of Earth," it said in a deep, echoing voice. "You are in violation of galactic law. You have built weapons beyond your right. You have expanded without permission. The Council has decided. Surrender your world or be erased." The hologram vanished. The silence that followed was heavier than any explosion. Reeves looked around the room. His people were scared, but they were also waiting for his order. "Let them think we're scared," he said quietly. "That's how we win." He turned to Tara. "Activate Project Lancer." She hesitated. "Sir, that's not ready for full deployment." Reeves' voice didn't rise. "Neither are they ready for what's coming." Moments later, a silent signal was sent across space, bouncing off satellites and relays hidden for decades. On the far side of the moon, a fleet stirred in the shadows, sleek, dark warships invisible to any known scanner. They had been built in secret, designed with stolen alien technology, wrapped in cloaking fields that made them look like empty space. The alien fleet began to charge their planet-killer weapon. A giant sphere at the center of their formation started glowing, bright enough to be seen from the surface of Earth. People screamed, prayed, and watched the end of their world forming above them. But then, the dark side of the moon came alive. Hundreds of human warships decloaked at once. Their engines flared blue as they launched a synchronized assault. Missiles streaked through the void. Railguns thundered. The alien formation broke in confusion as explosions ripped through their lines. Inside his command ship, Reeves watched the battle unfold. "Target their communication relays," he ordered. "Cut the head off and the body dies confused." Human pilots weaved between alien cruisers, outmaneuvering ships 3 times their size. The aliens, arrogant and slow to adapt, tried to lock on, but the humans vanished from their sensors, reappearing behind them with deadly precision. One alien admiral shouted through the fleet network, "Impossible! How can primitives have cloaking drives?" The answer came in the form of more explosions. Humanity had stolen their secrets years ago and made them better. Reeves leaned over the console. "Keep pressure on their command ship," he said. "Don't let them regroup." A message came through from a human pilot. "General, we've broken their formation, but they're calling for reinforcements." Reeves smiled slightly. "Good. That means they're scared." On the alien flagship, chaos spread. The Valari commander, Lord Varkon, watched his tactical display in disbelief. "They were supposed to be weak," he hissed. "Their world still uses combustion engines." A trembling officer replied, "They're ships. Their ships are using designs we've never seen. Their weapons are adaptive. They're learning as they fight," Varkon snarled, slamming his clawed hand against the control panel. "Destroy them all. I want Earth burning." The alien fleet tried to form a new line, but the humans had already anticipated it. Reeves' fleet moved like a pack of wolves, striking fast, vanishing, then hitting again. They weren't fighting for conquest. They were fighting for survival. Every maneuver, every sacrifice mattered. Meanwhile, on the ground, people watched the sky flash with streaks of light. Cities went dark as power was rerouted to defense grids. Children cried in shelters while old veterans sat quietly, whispering, "We told them this day would come." In orbit, One of the human ships took a direct hit. Flames burst across its hull. The captain, bleeding and calm, shouted, "Keep firing! We didn't come this far to run." The ship rammed straight into an alien cruiser, both exploding in a blinding flash. Back in the command center, Tara turned to Reeves. "Sir, we're losing ships too fast." Reeves's voice stayed steady. "Losses are expected, but look closer." She adjusted the display. The alien ships were falling faster, far faster. Their lines were collapsing. Their central command was silent. It wasn't just chaos, it was fear. On Varnus Prime, the seat of the Galactic Council, alien leaders watched the battle through their grand monitors. The chamber was silent. An old scholar known as the Archivist finally spoke. "It begins again," he whispered. The counselors turned to him. "What are you talking about?" one demanded. The Archivist's eyes glowed faintly. "The first ones wrote of this. Long ago, when the stars were young, they warned us, 'Beware the earthborn, for they rise from ruin and burn the heavens.'" Laughter filled the chamber. The younger counselors dismissed him. "Old myths," one said. "They're just another savage world that got lucky." But deep down, some of them felt the chill. Back at Earth, the alien fleet was breaking apart. Their ships were retreating, scattering into the dark. Human ships pursued, cutting down those that fled. The planet-killer sphere, now unstable, began to overload. Reeves saw it on the screen. "That thing's gonna blow," he said. "Pull our ships back behind the moon." Tara hesitated. "Sir, what about the ones still fighting?" He didn't blink. They knew the risk. The alien sphere erupted in a silent burst of white light. The shockwave rolled across space, tearing through the remnants of the alien armada. Earth's magnetic field shuddered, auroras flashing across every pole. When the light faded, only debris and silence remained. For the first time in known history, the Volari Dominion had lost a battle. Reeves stood quietly, looking at the map of wreckage orbiting Earth. "Send a message to all surviving ships," he said. "Mission success. Begin recovery operations." Tara's voice was shaky but proud. "Sir, what do we tell the council when they ask how we did this?" Reeves turned, his eyes sharp and calm. "Tell them the truth," he said. "We didn't start this war, but we finished the first round." As the surviving human ships drifted over the moon, their hulls scarred and glowing, the people of Earth looked up at the sky again. The red glow had faded. The stars were visible once more, but Reeves knew it wasn't over. The Volari Dominion would return with more fleets. The Galactic Council would not forgive this defeat. Humanity had shown its teeth, and now the galaxy would remember. He looked at the stars and whispered to himself, "Let them come. This time, we'll be ready." Far away on a distant world, the Council's archivist recorded a single line into the Galactic Archive. "The warning has been ignored once more. The Earthborn have awakened. The war for the galaxy had only just begun." The great chamber of the Galactic Council was filled with voices. Thousands of alien representatives shouted over one another as the glowing map of Earth hung in the air above them. The Volari Dominion's ambassador stood at the center, his silver armor cracked from battle, his voice sharp with rage. "They destroyed our fleet," he hissed. "Do you hear me? The humans destroyed a Dominion fleet. They are dangerous, unpredictable, and must be wiped out before they spread." Around the chamber, whispers filled the air. Some council members could not believe it. Others tried to hide their fear. No species had ever defeated the Volari Dominion in open battle, not for hundreds of years. Yet the humans, the young species from the small blue planet, had done it. At the far end of the hall, an old alien named Orin, the keeper of records, stood and spoke softly. "The signs are clear," he said. "The ancient scripts warned us about the Earthborn. We were told never to disturb them, never to test them." The Volari ambassador turned to him. "Old tales from dead races mean nothing. They are primitives. They have no place among the stars." Orin's voice was calm, but his eyes were tired. "Every race that said those words before you is gone." The chamber fell silent for a moment. Then, the council's speaker, a tall crystalline being named Threx, raised his hand. "Enough," he said. "The Dominion has suffered humiliation, yes, but we must not act in haste. If we strike now, we may provoke something we cannot control." The Valari slammed his clawed hand on the table. They are already out of control. They have stolen our technology and used it against us. If we wait, they will only grow stronger. Back on Earth, General Reeves sat in the command center studying the wreckage maps. The alien debris still orbited the planet, a shining ring of twisted metal. His officers were cleaning the battlefield, collecting anything useful. Reeves knew the war was not over. He could feel it in his bones. Dr. Lyra Vaughn entered the room holding a data pad. She was a scientist who had been working in secret for years, studying alien transmissions. Her voice was low as she spoke. "We've cracked part of the Valari command data, General. You'll want to see this." She handed him the pad. On the screen were files, records of old galactic meetings thousands of years old. Reeves frowned. "What is this?" "It's from the Galactic Council's archives," Lyra said. "They've been watching Earth for centuries. We were never supposed to know about them. The warning you saw in their last transmission wasn't new. It was written long ago. They've feared humanity since before we even reached the stars." Reeves studied the words glowing on the screen. The old alien language had been translated into simple English. "The Earthborn are not to be disturbed. They are the echo of the first fire. To awaken them is to burn again." He looked up. "What does that mean?" Lyra shook her head. "No one knows. But whatever happened before, they're afraid it will happen again." Outside, repair crews worked on damaged ships. The human fleet was smaller now, but stronger. The soldiers were no longer scared. They had faced the galaxy's mightiest empire and survived. For the first time, humanity had a real seat in the stars, but in the deep black between worlds, new fleets were forming. The Valari Dominion, furious over their defeat, demanded revenge. They gathered allies from other races, species that hated or feared humans. Soon, a massive invasion force was being built. The Galactic Council, divided and uncertain, turned a blind eye. On Varnus Prime, Orin stood in his library, surrounded by ancient crystal tablets. He ran his hand over one that glowed faintly when touched. It was older than any of the Council races, written by a species long gone. The script read, "They come from dust, rise in flame, and remember the stars. When they awaken, the heavens shall tremble." He whispered to himself, "It's happening again." Meanwhile, Reeves held a meeting with his commanders. "We can't wait for them to strike again," he said. "They'll regroup, and next time they won't underestimate us. We need to take the fight to them." Tara Holt frowned. "Sir, we barely survived the last attack. You're suggesting we go on the offensive?" Reeves nodded. "That's exactly what I'm suggesting. We know where their relay stations are. We've got their frequencies. If we hit them first, we can control the battlefield before they even arrive." Lyra stepped forward. "We also found something else in their data," she said. "A weakness in their energy matrix. If we overload their command relays, their fleets will lose coordination. But we'd need to get close. Too close." Reeves smiled. "Then we'll get close." "That's what humans do. The plan was risky, but it was the only way." The operation was given a name, Ghostlight. A fleet of stealth ships would travel beyond the solar system, strike the enemy's network, and vanish before they could react. Days later, the Ghostlight fleet launched from hidden bases. Their engines were silent, their signals masked. Reeves watched from the command center as the ships disappeared into the void. "Good hunting," he said softly. While humanity prepared for its bold move, the Galactic Council met again. The Valari ambassador demanded a vote for total war. "They cannot be reasoned with," he shouted. "They have no place among civilized species. If you do not act, they will destroy us all." Threx, the council speaker, looked at him. "We have no proof that they plan to attack us." The Valari's voice turned cold. "Proof? You saw what they did to our fleet. They used our own weapons. They have no limits. They are a disease that must be cut out." Orin, the old archivist, spoke once more. "The last time someone said those words," he said, "it ended with galaxies burning." But the council did not listen. The vote was cast. The decision was made. A coalition fleet would be assembled to strike Earth and end the human threat forever. As the alien fleets gathered in deep space, humanity's spies intercepted fragments of their plans. Reeves read the intercepted message and sighed. "So it's war again," he said. "They never learn." Lyra looked up at him. "Then what do we do now?" Reeves walked to the viewing window. Earth glowed below, calm and blue, unaware of the storm coming. "We finish Ghostlight," he said, "and then we make them see what they've unleashed." Far beyond the Milky Way, in an ancient and forgotten sector, a dead world drifted among the stars. Its surface was covered in ruins and ash. Deep beneath the ruins, machines long asleep flickered to life. The symbols carved into their walls glowed faintly. The same symbols from Oren's tablets. Something old was awakening. Back at the council, Oren felt a chill he could not explain. He opened his personal log and wrote, "They did not believe the warning. They have chosen war. The Earthborn will remember." In the darkness of space, the Ghostlight fleet approached its target, a massive alien relay station glowing like a web of stars. Commander Holt led the mission. Her voice came through the comms, calm and steady. "Ghostlight units in position. On my mark." The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. The silent black of space turned to fire as the humans struck first. Explosions tore through the alien relay, cutting the network in half. The Dominion fleets blinked in confusion, their systems going dark. In seconds, their coordination vanished. From the shadows, Holt whispered, "Message from Earth, we are not prey." As the relay burned, the Ghostlight fleet vanished again, disappearing into deep space. When the news reached the council, panic spread. The Valari ambassador screamed for vengeance. Threx tried to call for calm, but the chamber erupted in chaos. Only Oren sat in silence, his old eyes reflecting the glow of the burning map. He whispered softly, "The warning has come true. The fire has returned to the stars." And far away, General Reeves looked up at the night sky from Earth, his reflection dim in the glass. "They'll come again," he said quietly. "But next time, we won't just defend Earth. We'll change the galaxy." The stars shone bright and cold, unaware that a new chapter of galactic history had begun. The humans had been awakened, and nothing could ever put them back to sleep. The dark of space was quiet, but only for a moment. Then the silence broke. Hundreds of alien warships appeared at the edge of the solar system, their engines glowing like burning suns. It was the largest fleet the galaxy had ever seen. The Galactic Council had united, bringing ships from dozens of species. They called it the Cleansing Force. Their goal was simple: to erase Earth and everything human from existence. General Reeves watched from the command deck of the USS Avalon. His expression was calm, but inside he could feel the weight of the moment. His officers worked in silence, their faces lit by the blue glow of screens. "They're here," Tara Holt said. "And there's a lot of them. How many?" Reeves asked. She swallowed. "Over 10,000 ships," Reeves nodded once. "Then we'll make them regret every single one." Earth's defenses were ready. Satellite cannons lined the orbit. Hidden weapon stations floated among the asteroids, and stealth ships lurked behind Jupiter's storms. Humanity had spent years preparing for this. They had learned from every alien they fought, every piece of technology they captured. They were no longer the frightened species who once hid beneath their sky. The first attack came fast. Alien destroyers fired beams of light that tore through space, hitting the outer defense platforms. Several stations exploded at once. The shock waves rippled across the black. Human ships responded immediately, unleashing missiles and railgun bursts that split the alien formation apart. The battle began. Reeves stood at the center of the chaos, giving calm, sharp orders. "Flank groups, split formation. Draw them into the gravity traps. Activate Spectre." Deep beneath the Avalon, a cluster of quantum processors came to life. Spectre was the most advanced artificial intelligence ever created by humans, designed to do what no alien AI could: adapt, learn, and fight like a human. Within seconds, Spectre spread across the enemy networks, slipping into their systems like a ghost. Alien ships began to turn on one another. Some fired blindly into empty space. Others shut down completely, drifting helplessly. Confusion spread through the cleansing force. On one alien battleship, the commander screamed at his crew, "Our systems are compromised! Cut the data links!" But it was too late. The humans had taken control of their ships from the inside. Reeves watched the tactical screen. "Good, now we push." The Avalon and its escort fleet charged forward. Dozens of human cruisers fired together, their weapons forming lines of fire across the stars. Alien ships exploded one after another. For every human loss, 3 enemy vessels fell. On the alien command ship, Supreme Admiral Vareen of the Council forces stared in disbelief. "This can't be possible," he said. "They were supposed to be uncoordinated savages." A trembling aide replied, "They fight like they've done this 1,000 times before." Vareen slammed his fist down. "Then we show them what true power means. Prepare the planetfall cannons." Huge beams of plasma cut through the void, aiming straight for Earth. The weapons glowed brighter than suns. Reeves saw the readings spike. "They're targeting the planet," he said. "Redirect the satellites. Shield Earth at all costs." The orbital defense grid came alive. Beams of energy crossed over the planet, forming a glowing barrier. When the alien plasma struck, the barrier held for a few seconds before cracking like glass. Fragments of the shield fell away in blue sparks, but the planet remained safe, for now. "Status?" Reeves asked. Tara's voice shook slightly. "Shield's at 40%. We can't take another direct hit." "Then don't let them fire again," Reeves said. "Bring the Avalon around." We hit their weapons array head-on. The ship turned sharply, engines roaring. Missiles flew, railguns fired, and the alien flagship shook under the assault. The humans were relentless. They did not fight by alien rules. They improvised, they adapted, and they never stopped. At the same time, near Mars, a smaller human task force launched its own strike. Commander Holt led the group, her ships weaving between debris and burning wrecks. "Target their supply ships," she ordered. No fuel, no fight. Her ships cut through the alien convoys like blades through paper. The enemy fleet began to falter, but victory came at a price. Human losses grew. Ships burned, crews vanished in silence. Reeves could see the cost on the monitors, but his voice never wavered. "Keep pushing. If we fall back now, it's over." Hours passed. The battle spread from the asteroid belt to Jupiter's orbit. Explosions filled the black, lighting up the darkness like endless fireworks. Every race watching from across the galaxy saw the impossible happening again. The cleansing force, the pride of the Galactic Council, was losing. In the council chamber, panic broke out. "They're turning our fleets against us," one ambassador shouted. "Shut down their networks." Another voice shouted back, "We can't! They've infected everything." Oren, the old archivist, stood in the corner watching the chaos. "You did not listen," he said softly. "You never listen." Back in space, Admiral Vareen gave one last desperate command. "Activate the forbidden weapons." The alien fleet began releasing dark energy bombs, massive gravitational spheres that crushed everything around them. Moons shattered. Asteroids exploded. Space itself rippled. The Avalon's hull trembled under the pressure. "Brace for impact," Reeves shouted. The ship groaned, but the reinforced armor held. "Return fire," he said. All batteries. Human warships unleashed everything they had. The alien weapons detonated prematurely, turning their own fleets into glowing storms of destruction. When the light faded, the alien command ships were gone. The silence that followed was strange. The great cleansing force had been broken. Pieces of ships drifted through the void, glowing dimly as their reactors died. Tara looked at the screen, unable to believe it. We did it," she said. Reeves stared at the wreckage. "Not yet. Send recovery teams. Find survivors if there are any." Minutes later, reports came in. Among the drifting debris was the enemy flagship, still mostly intact. Reeves ordered a boarding team. Inside the ship, human soldiers moved carefully through dark corridors. Dead aliens floated around them. The smell of burnt metal filled the air. In the command chamber, they found what they were looking for: a functioning communication array. Reeves appeared on the holographic feed across the galaxy. His image flickered in every alien capital, every council world. His voice was calm but carried a sharp edge. "We didn't start this war," he said, "but we will finish it." The message echoed through the galaxy. The council worlds watched in silence. On Varnus Prime, Oren closed his eyes. "It has begun," he whispered. "The fire has returned." Reeves turned off the transmission and looked out at the stars. The human fleet was battered but alive. "Prepare for repairs," he said, "and send word to all colonies. The galaxy knows who we are now. As the Avalon drifted past the wreckage of alien ships, the stars reflected off its scarred hull. Earth glowed faintly behind it, still alive, still fighting. Far away, the surviving alien ships fled toward deep space, carrying stories of terror and disbelief. They would tell the Council that humans fought like no other species, that they were not driven by greed, but by something stronger. A need to survive, to adapt, to win. Reeves stood at the window, his reflection faint in the glass. "They thought they could erase us," he said quietly. "Now they'll remember us forever." Behind him, the hum of the ship filled the silence. The war wasn't over. It had only changed shape. As the Avalon turned toward Earth, the stars seemed to shimmer brighter, as if they too had witnessed something impossible. The galaxy had underestimated humanity once. It would not make that mistake again. But in the shadows between galaxies, something ancient began to stir. A faint pulse echoed through space, an old signal, one that hadn't been heard for millions of years. The message was simple, almost like a whisper. The Earthborn have awakened again. And this time they would not stop. The wreckage of the great battle still floated in silence around Jupiter. Twisted metal and broken ships turned slowly in the darkness. The humans had won, but victory had a heavy cost. Thousands of soldiers were gone, and Earth's defenses were damaged. Still, humanity stood tall. For the first time in history, the galaxy knew that Earth could not be destroyed so easily. Inside the USS Avalon, General Reeves looked tired but determined. The war room was quiet except for the low hum of machinery. Tara Holt stood beside him, reviewing new reports. "We've lost 30% of our fleet," she said softly. "Repairs will take months," Reeves nodded. "Then we work faster than that," he said. "The Council will not rest. They'll rebuild and come again. We have to be ready before they do." Dr. Lyra Vaughn entered, carrying a small data drive. Her face was pale, her eyes focused. "General, I found something," she said. "It's from the alien flagship we captured." The files were deep, buried under layers of encryption. "It took Spectre hours to decode." Reeves raised an eyebrow. "What did you find?" Lyra placed the drive on the table, and the holographic screen lit up. Strange symbols appeared, glowing softly. "These aren't battle plans," she said. "They're historical records, ancient ones. The Council has been hiding them for centuries, and they talk about us." The screen showed an image of a blue planet surrounded by fire. Around it were words in an alien script, slowly translated into English. "They rise again from the ashes. They are the echo of the first ones. They are the endless flame." Reeves frowned. "The first ones? You think that's us?" Lyra nodded slowly. "I think it might be. These records say the first ones were a race that ruled the stars long before any of the current empires existed. They were powerful, but they vanished after a great war that burned entire galaxies. And the location of their homeworld?" She paused. "It's Earth." Silence filled the room. Tara stared at her. "You're saying humans are the descendants of those ancient beings?" Lyra's voice was quiet but firm. "Not just descendants. We might be them. Reborn in a new age. Maybe that's what the warning meant. Every time we rise, we destroy the order of the galaxy." Reeves leaned forward. "If that's true, then the Council knows. That's why they fear us." On Varnus Prime, the Galactic Council met in secret. The chamber was darker now, the usual glow dimmed by fear. The Valari Dominion was broken, and half of the Allied fleets were gone. The leaders of other species argued loudly, blaming each other for the disaster. Threx, the Council speaker, struck the table to silence them. "Enough," he said. "We cannot let this chaos spread. The humans have shown they are more than we believed. If we do nothing, their rise will destroy us all." Oren, the old archivist, stood up slowly. His voice was tired but steady. "You speak of destroying them again," he said. "Do you not see the pattern? Every age, some empire makes the same mistake. They attack the Earthborn, and every age ends the same way." Threx glared at him. "Are we to sit and wait for them to burn us?" Oren shook his head. "You already lit the fire. Now you will live in its shadow." But the Council ignored him. Plans were already being made. In the deep vaults beneath the Council's capital, Scientists worked on a weapon unlike any other, the Starfall engine. It was designed to erase entire solar systems to turn stars into collapsing voids. They meant to use it on Earth. Back on the Avalon, Lyra showed Reeves the intercepted communications. "They're building something huge," she said. "Something that can destroy a whole system. We have to stop it before it's complete." Reeves stared at the data. "Where is it?" "Deep in their territory," she said. "Inside the Varnus cluster." "That's suicide," Tara said quietly. "No fleet has ever gone that deep into Council space." Reeves looked at both of them. "Then it's time someone did." The plan was made quickly. A small, fast fleet would slip past enemy lines, find the weapon, and destroy it. They called it Operation Dawnstrike. Before they launched, Reeves stood before his crew. "They think they can end us with fear," he said. "They think they can erase Earth from history. But we've faced extinction before. Every time we rise again, every time we fight back. That's who we are." The fleet moved through the dark like shadows. Alien patrols searched for them, but Spectre masked their signals. They passed silent planets, empty outposts, and dead stars until they reached the Varnus cluster. There, in orbit around a dying sun, they saw it, the Starfall engine. It was enormous, the size of a moon, glowing with unstable energy. Lyra studied the readings. "It's close to activation," she said. "If they fire it, Earth will be gone in minutes." Reeves gave the order. "Then we end it now." Human ships charged forward, weapons blazing. The battle that followed was fast and brutal. Alien guardians swarmed around the weapon, their numbers overwhelming. Human ships weaved between them, firing, dodging, exploding. Tara's ship took heavy damage. Flames filled the bridge. "I can't hold much longer, General," she said over the comm. "Just a little more," Reeves replied. "We're almost there." Lyra worked at her console, directing drones toward the weapon's weak points. "We can't destroy it from the outside," she said. "We need to overload the core from within," Reeves nodded. "Then we go in." The Avalon pushed through enemy fire, heading straight toward the heart of the weapon. Alarms blared, lights flickered, but Reeves didn't stop. "Prepare the self-destruct sequence," he ordered. "If we can't disable it, we'll take it with us." The ship entered the weapon's structure, surrounded by tunnels of glowing energy. Lyra's hands moved quickly. "Almost there," she whispered. "Just a few more seconds." Outside, human ships fought desperately to hold the line. One by one they fell, but none retreated. They knew what was at stake. Inside the core, the energy pulsed faster, brighter. "It's overloading," Lyra said. "We have to get out." Reeves shook his head. "No, if we leave now, they'll rebuild it." "We finish this." He activated the final sequence. "To all ships," he said into the comm, "fall back. The Avalon will handle the rest." Tara's voice broke through static. "Sir, don't do this." "Do your duty, Commander," Reeves said. "And remember what we've learned. The fire always returns." The last thing they saw was the Avalon diving into the light. Then everything exploded. The Starfall engine collapsed on itself, its power tearing open space. For a moment, a black rift appeared, and through it came flickers of something ancient, shapes of massive ships, shadows of warriors, echoes of a forgotten age. Then the light vanished. When the human fleet regrouped, the weapon was gone. The Varnus cluster was silent. On Earth, Lyra stood in the command center, listening to the faint static of Reeves' last transmission. She whispered, "He did it." Across the galaxy, the Council felt the shockwave. The Starfall project was lost. Fear spread among the stars. The archivist Oren wrote his final words in the record. They did not heed the warning. They built a weapon for gods, and now they face the fire of men. And in the void, where the Avalon once was, a faint signal pulsed again and again, a human heartbeat echoing through the endless dark. The signal from the Avalon kept repeating through the deep void. It was faint, almost gone, but it did not fade completely. Weeks turned into months, and still it pulsed, a single heartbeat in the cold darkness. On Earth, many believed General Reeves and his crew were lost forever, but some refused to accept it. Dr. Lyra Vaughn worked night and day, searching for the source of that signal. It came from a region of space that did not exist on any known map. The world was still recovering from the war. The Council's fleets had fallen silent, their governments fractured. The destruction of the Starfall engine had shaken the galaxy to its core. Some races called it justice. Others called it the beginning of something worse. For humanity, it was a warning and a mystery. What had the Avalon found in its final moment? What was that flash of ancient ships and unknown symbols in the collapsing light? Lyra believed the answer lay in the heartbeat signal. She gathered a small team and launched an expedition aboard the research ship Erebus. Commander Tara Holt, now captain, led the mission. "We're not going out there to mourn," she said. "We're going to find out what really happened." The journey took them past the borders of mapped space, into the dark regions where even the Council never dared to go. The stars grew fewer, and strange energy fields flickered around them. It felt like flying into the remains of a forgotten universe. After weeks of silence, the signal grew stronger. It guided them to a vast field of glowing debris. The pieces were not from the Avalon. They were far older. Massive structures drifted in the dark, built from metals no human scanners could identify. Some of the wrecks looked like planets broken into shards, others like titanic machines turned to stone. Tara looked at the view and whispered, "What is this place?" Lyra's eyes widened as she read the scans. "This isn't just a battlefield," she said. "It's a graveyard of civilizations." Spectre's AI voice spoke through the speakers. Multiple languages detected. Some match fragments from the Council's forbidden archives. Others are unknown. Probability suggests this is the site of the First War. "The war that ended the first ones," Tara said quietly. "The war that ended us." They followed the signal deeper into the field. At the center of the graveyard floated something enormous, a structure shaped like a ring wider than Earth's moon. It pulsed faintly with blue light, the same rhythm as the Avalon's signal. Tara stared at it. "That's where he is," she said. The Erebus approached slowly. Energy rippled around the ring and a doorway opened, revealing a tunnel of light. Against all fear and logic, they entered. Inside, gravity shifted and everything felt weightless. They were no longer in normal space. The walls glowed softly, showing images of stars being born and dying. Then came the sound, a voice, deep and calm, speaking in ancient English. "Welcome home." The crew froze. Lyra's heart raced. "Who's there?" she asked. The voice answered, "You are the children of fire. You were not meant to return so soon." A shape appeared before them, made of light. It was tall, human-shaped, but not entirely human. Its eyes glowed like stars. "I am the Keeper," it said. "I guard what remains of the first ones. The Avalon entered this place when it destroyed the weapon of the Council. Its sacrifice reopened the gate." Tara stepped forward. "What happened to the Avalon's crew?" The Keeper's light shifted. Images formed around them. The Avalon diving into the collapsing core, the explosion turning into a tunnel of light, and Reeves standing on the bridge as his ship vanished into another realm. "They live," the Keeper said, "but not as they once did. They have joined the memory of the first ones. Their essence guards this place," Lyra whispered. "Then the warning was real. We really are their descendants." "Yes," the Keeper replied. "Long ago, the first ones ruled with wisdom and strength. But pride consumed them. They built weapons like the Starfall engine, and their war tore the stars apart. Before the end, they sent a fragment of their kind to a safe world, to sleep, to forget, and to begin again." "That world was Earth?" Tara asked. "And now that we've awakened?" The Keeper's voice grew softer. "Now the cycle begins again. The others will fear you. They will attack, and you must decide what kind of flame you will be. The one that destroys, or the one that lights the way." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. General Reeves tried to stop the war. "He gave everything." The Keeper turned its gaze toward her. "And for that, his spirit remains here. He watches still." Suddenly, the lights around them brightened. The image of Reeves appeared beside the Keeper, faint but clear. His face was calm. "Tara," he said, his voice echoing like a memory. Tara froze. "Sir, is it really you?" "It's what's left of me," Reeves said. "I saw what's coming." "The Council's fall is only the beginning. There are forces beyond them waiting. They remember the first ones, and they want vengeance. You have to prepare Earth." Lyra stepped forward. "How? We can't fight what we don't understand." "Then learn," Reeves said. The knowledge of the first ones is here. Use it wisely. Do not become what we once were. The image started to fade. Remember, he said, the warning was never meant to scare them. It was meant to remind us. And then he was gone. The keeper extended its hand, and a small crystal floated toward Lyra. This contains the knowledge of the first ones, it said. It is both a gift and a burden. Guard it well. The crew returned to the Erebus, carrying the crystal. As they left the ring, the structure began to fade, disappearing back into the void. Behind them, the signal stopped. The heartbeat was gone. Back on Earth, months later, Lyra presented the crystal to the United Earth Council. The leaders gathered in silence as the device projected star maps, technologies, and ancient histories. It showed them the truth. The galaxy had once been ruled by humanity, and that legacy was written in their very genes. Some wanted to use the knowledge to rebuild stronger fleets, to take control of the galaxy again. Others wanted peace. Tara stood beside Lyra and said, "If we repeat their mistakes, we'll end like them. We can defend Earth without destroying everything else," but not everyone agreed. Across human colonies, voices rose for expansion and power. The same hunger that once destroyed the first ones began to whisper again. In the shadows of deep space, remnants of the old council listened. Some were terrified, others began plotting revenge, and beyond even them, in the silent corners of the universe, ancient eyes opened once more. One night, Lyra stood alone on the balcony of Earth's orbital station, staring at the stars. She held the crystal in her hand, feeling its faint warmth. The voice of the keeper echoed faintly in her mind. "The flame never dies. It only waits." Below her, Earth turned slowly, glowing with life. Ships rose and fell through the atmosphere, a symbol of both hope and danger. Humanity had survived. But survival was not the end. It was the beginning of something greater, something older. Far beyond the edge of the known galaxy, a signal blinked again, soft, rhythmic, and human. It came from a place no map showed, where the stars themselves seemed afraid to shine. The signal carried a simple message, repeating endlessly, "We are awake." And across the endless dark, every empire that once mocked the warning felt a chill run through their bones. They had dismissed the ancient words about humanity's return. Now they finally understood. The fire had come again, and this time it would not be contained.